Hello, everyone. This is going to be another stream of consciousness video. So, you're invited to sit down with me and just let these words wash over you. Life can get very difficult sometimes. You can feel like you're drifting, like you don't have any direction, like you're in a period of instability or flux, and that you're trying to reach out and grab onto anything that can keep you stable. I'm just wondering, what's the point of it all? Why existence? Well, you can get so low that you can say, why existence? Why? It's a very heavy, dark place to be in. I myself only dip my toe there occasionally. Because a human can only take so much sometimes, and then you find yourself at the end of your rope, so to speak. What even is that? The end of your rope? It's almost like you're scaling down a cliff and you're using a rope to support you as you try and get down to the bottom of whatever this is, and then the rope just sort of ends. You're at the end of your rope. You can't go any further. There's a difficulty about being in this space because you're at rock bottom, and it can be difficult to find hope, to find your connection with Source, to find your connection with yourself, your belief in yourself, the belief in the capacity that things will work out. I had a rough, fractured childhood. Grew up in poverty. Ended up in a bad 15-year marriage. Lost my job multiple times. Still in the process of being jobless at the moment, actually. It's only by the grace of strangers letting me sleep on their floor that I even have a place with a roof over my head. My sister was found dead on Christmas. My brother was murdered not too long back, a couple of years ago. My father died. My mother is in the process of surviving cancer. I have people that still depend on me to support them to the best of my ability. There's a lot of weight in my life and things that should, quote unquote, break me. And there's just a sense of dark amusement at it all that allows me to face it. But at a certain point in time, you just have to feel it. You just have to go into it. You just have to let the energies just hit you right where they need to hit you. You don't need to blame anything. You don't need to externalize anything. You don't need to add stories to it or label it or do anything other than feel it. If tears want to come, tears want to come. There is strength to be found in returning to the present time and time again, focusing on what you can actually do, looking towards solutions, being oriented towards the positive and towards something rather than in relationship to being against something. You are the creator of your own experience. It's dictated by every thought, every reaction that's felt in your body, every story, every narrative, every perspective, everything that you put between you and reality adds another layer of color to it that you put there unconsciously or consciously. even your own relationship with death, with harm, with discomfort, with all the different things in life that you might want to avoid. When a lot of these spiritual traditions say that you can find true liberation, true freedom, a lot of times they're just inviting you to go inward and connect with your own sovereignty, your own source, and realize that you do have a lot of strength in you, more than you ever thought that was ever possibly there. And a lot of that looks like letting go of things, of letting go of identities and weights and structures that don't belong to you, that aren't part of your path, that don't contribute to you being in the vibration that you want to be in, and the resonance that you want to be in, that cover up your light, that dim it, that possibly make it so that even you can't see the light inside of you. You're so out of touch with who you actually are. Maybe you feel dead inside. Maybe you feel unmotivated. You just can't anymore. You just can't anymore. But then you find some shred of strength you didn't know you had, and you find out you can. You can. You always can. You always could. You know, when they talk about manifestation and the ability to attract the future version of yourself into the now moment that has exactly what you've been looking for, that has the life that you crave. There are so many different manifestation techniques out there that align you with creating your own reality. And if things aren't working because you've been trying them and they just aren't working for you, you just go back into your center, find your core, your strength, your stability, your light, your vibration, your truth, the heart song that wants to sing through you. You just stay connected with that and follow it wherever it takes you. Through whatever experiences it takes you. You have no idea what is possible for you in this life. Your vantage point is very limited from the scope of spirit, from the scope of your higher self. if you're trying to make sense of it all, you can ask questions of yourself and your nature, like, what am I sensitive to? How does that help me understand and relate to other people? How does that help me understand and relate to myself? In what way am I aware of something that other people just aren't aware of or gets overlooked? What part of the missing puzzle am I contributing to my being here? All of us have our own unique gifts, our own unique ways of interacting with and relating to the world and moving through it, a process of discovery and exploration. I know from my own path, it's the process of being itself. Being human has never been easy for me. It's always been a struggle. Understanding emotions, having emotions, connecting with my emotions, connecting with my body, connecting with my own flow, my own creativity. All of it is a struggle, has been a struggle. I came into this world ill-equipped to be able to function in human society. But what are the advantages of that? I get to have the outsider's perspective. I get to have the struggle of what it's like to move closer into being and more intimacy with self and into flow, and know what it's like to have a mind that's constantly trying to process everything, understand everything, dissect everything, and being so trapped up in the head that you're completely out of touch with reality itself. Seeing everything through logic and efficiency and optimization and systems, and also learning how to let that go. To let the mind just be quiet, to connect with the presence of the present moment, to sit and be attentive and curious about other people's experience. To not understand anything at all. So being able to develop the capacity to actually get inside other people's experience and sit down inside of it and see from within that perspective as if I'm looking out through their eyes with their unique pressures that are weighing on them. All of your life is enriching who you are, every moment. Every struggle you think you're going through, every sensitivity you think you have. This is why so many different people say that your shadows are your gifts, the things that dog at you in the darkness. The paths are always truly individual and unique, and you're going to go on your own hero's journey. You're going to go on your own self-discovery, your own way of relating to the pressures of the world so that it is the perfect pressure pot cooking you for exactly what you're going to become. And it isn't only a becoming, it is also a being. The point isn't the end. The entire process, every step of the way, everything that you thought was a mistake, but that you learned from, that gave you a new insight, that gave you a new way of seeing the world and relating to the world, that you couldn't have been able to relate or see the world unless you had that particular experience. Because it is only in light of that particular experience that you now have this new frame of reference, because that's all we are. It's just a bunch of self-referential nodes all the way down to source that come into the conscious light of awareness of this human embodied formed experience, this place of density, this place of contraction, starting from birth, being shaped by your parents, your peers, every interaction you've had with everyone, all the different books you've been exposed to, media you've been exposed to. All of it shapes your frame of reference. All of it shapes who you are. There is no part of your past that is completely irrelevant. And if it is irrelevant, then you just stop remembering it. And it fades into the darkness. Wherever memories go when they're not important enough to remember. You don't need to be tortured by your past or your future. There's no need to worry about what's coming tomorrow. You have today to contend with. Today is where everything happens. Now is where everything happens. In this exact moment where you're at right now, as you listen to this, here's where you have any amount of control, if you have any control at all. It's the capacity to do things now. Every future moment is going to be the now. And it may not plan out exactly as you have predicted or you have planned. That's okay. You can move through life however you want. If you want to plan, if you want to have structure, if you want to try and hone in certainty and play it safe, that's a completely valid approach to moving through life. But also, if you want to play with life and invite a little bit of chaos, spontaneity, and creativity, and a little bit of messiness, that is also fine. Both are beautiful in their own ways, because all of us are the all that is, exploring all the paths that can be through us. The point isn't that you need to be or become like someone else. You need to discover your own uniqueness, your own flavor, the own thing. Find out why source consciousness incarnated into you in order to have your particular experience so that it could contribute to the all that is. And try to recognize the amount of agency that you have in your life, the capacity for your choices, your beliefs, and your filters to shape your relationship with everything around you. You can choose peace, you can choose contentment, you can choose equanimity. I'm feeling called to read something I wrote earlier, so I think I will do that. What if this struggle you're experiencing isn't a sign you're lost your way, but an invitation into a much wilder, more terrifying, beautiful expression of the divine than you've ever allowed yourself to taste? What if the very need for certainty is the limit? The unknown and unknowable is the cliff you're being invited to step toward. It is uncharted territory. It asks you to stand at the edge of everything familiar and take one step further. But the mind clings to what it can see, what it can know, what it can trust. It refuses to step unless it's guaranteed solid ground. But that's not how exploration works. Especially not when you're being invited outside everything you've ever known, beyond thought, beyond words, beyond language, beyond right and wrong, here and there, self and other, subject, object, into an intimacy so profound that there is no distance, no separation, no otherness from your own tasting. A letting go of all frameworks, a trusting, a surrendering so complete and all-encompassing that it feels like falling into the moment. For me, this is the nature of what Tantra explores. In Abraham's teachings, we learn to seek alignment and move away from resistance. But in the stanzas of divine pulsation, spanda is both contraction and the expansion. They are not enemies. They are the indrawn and outdrawn breath of lovers. So when you sit on your couch, feeling stuck and unable to act, that heaviness, that frustration, that sense of being unable to find the current, it does not have to mean that you failed or fallen out of the divine. Maybe it is true that alignment feels easeful, effortless, like flow, like a relaxation back into your own resonance, your own center, or centerlessness, whichever is arising in that moment. A letting go into that current of something deeper than the personal self, something that cannot quite be named, only felt. So yes, perhaps there is such a thing as feeling out of alignment. Our experience can be a kind of barometer. The body knows, the heart knows, the nervous system knows, the subtle field knows. But being out of alignment's not bad. It too is part of the divine play, part of learning how to listen more deeply, how to trust the body more completely, how to let intuition become less a question and answer machine and more of a living intimacy with the moment. Maybe the invitation is not to deny the feeling of misalignment, but to stop making it wrong. Because even the contraction teaches, even the stuckness reveals, even the confusion is part of consciousness learning how to play the game more skillfully. At a certain point, action may stop feeling like something the separate self has to force or manage, and the game begins to play itself through you. The universe becomes the doer. Not as an idea, not as a belief or concept, that the mind can possess, but as a felt surrender into the totality of experience. And only words can point to that. And words can only point to that. You do not need to wait until stars perfectly align to move. Sometimes alignment is found in the stillness, and sometimes it's discovered through the first step. True effortlessness may not mean acting only when you are the 100% certain. It may mean relaxing enough to let the next moment reveal itself from within the free fall. Imagine walking an infinite bridge suspended in the cosmos, trusting that every step you take will find solid ground, only there is no bridge. Instead, the very fabric of reality is woven beneath your feet, a single breath before your foot arrives. This is the trust you may be exploring now. Alignment is not always something you must secure before you act. Sometimes it's the living current that awakens as you begin to move. When you let go of needing to get it right, you may begin to realize that even the wobble belongs, even the uncertainty belongs, even the pause belongs. They are the textures of the path itself. Just some food for thought. So let's go ahead and take a moment to pause, to rest here in this moment. Allow your breath to be natural, to flow in and out. Try to notice if there's any tension in your body right now. Are you breathing into your diaphragm, into your belly, or into your chest? And start scanning your body in order to look for any knots of tension. You start at the top of your head. Allow your awareness to roam along the top of your scalp, along the back of your head, along the side, along your forehead. Just let it roam. See how much of your awareness you have of your own skin, of the inside of your being, of your capacity to touch your own self with your awareness. Let it rest on your cheek, on your nose, on your jaw, on your neck. And just continue this process throughout the rest of your body, allowing your awareness to kiss the inside of you, land gently and caress your skin, Allow yourself to become deeply and intimately aware of your insides and the spaciousness. Let it be playful. Let it be intimate. Let it be spontaneous. Allow your own curiosity, your own capacity to be engaged with your own experience. This is your experience. This is your body. This is your moment. Just allow yourself to let yourself sink deeper into your own experience, your own senses. And let the curiosity and the play lead. Even let these words fade into the background and just be words that are arising and appearing within the space of your experience. You don't need to understand them. You don't need to pay attention to them. You don't need to focus on them. You can just allow your awareness to drift. Inside of yourself and see what you discover. Allow yourself to feel as if you're an explorer, exploring the uncharted and the unknown. Going, wow, I didn't know I could feel like that. That's interesting. If words or thoughts or pictures or images or whatever you associate with mental activity arises, that's fine. You can let it be. You can even investigate that if you want, as your experience. Go wherever the curiosity follows. And try playing with your awareness by having it be intensely focused and then having it be broad, all-encompassing, taking your entire sense field in, all of your experience that you have right now, all coming in, none of it more prominent than the other. It's all just the same, all paid attention to equally, all within the sphere of awareness equally. You see if you can balance in the center of what it feels like to try and allow yourself to not be focused on any particular thing. Just allow yourself to sit in the center of what it's like to be the everything that you are sensing right now. No need to put thoughts or labels on anything. No effort. Just kind of like you're trying to balance, finding your center, feeling what your center feels like. Now, see what it feels like when you try and breathe into specific parts of your body. Try breathing into your heart. What does breathing into your heart feel like? And become aware of the breath. Feel as it travels up the sinuses, up the nose, that subtle rush of wind that happens every time you breathe in, the temperature change as the air comes in. I feel the air traveling down your throat. The way it changes the temperature or causes any sort of sensation. Maybe it feels dry or just like windy air. Any sort of sensation that you can feel. And then as it goes deeper down, just try directing it into the heart as you breathe in. You're still breathing naturally and normally and smoothly and probably deeply with your diaphragm into your belly. But the subtle energy quality to it, your awareness traveling with each in-breath up the nose, down the throat, and into the heart with each inhale. That's a separate feeling. You can let the air travel wherever the air wants to go, but the subtle energy that you can feel when you're breathing in and bringing it down and into a space inside of you, that tends to follow your attention, your awareness, your imagination. Allow yourself to just breathe into your heart. If it helps, every time you breathe into your heart, you can imagine like it's a little fire that glows brighter every time you blow air on it. And you're breathing air straight into it, straight into that fire, into that ember. And these little practices here are how you become more intimate with your own experience, more aware of your body sensations and your capacity to ground into this moment, into who you are right now. You'll notice that as you continue with these, you don't need to do just this set. This is about exploration and following your intuition and playfulness and innocence and allowing yourself to just become comfortable with who you are and your body and what it's trying to communicate to you. You can have this relationship, this intimacy, this playfulness, this introspection with any aspect of your experience, such as emotions, and what do emotions feel like in your body. And try and loosen the rigidity of everything and stop trying to force it to be any particular way and allow the experience itself to invite you deeper into intimacy with it. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that mini micro spontaneous meditation. I'm going to go ahead and call it here. So may peace favor you, and you have a wonderful day. Take care.